All right, moving along, we're going to just capture this little piece, these four right in here. And in fact, we should be able to use a lot of what we worked on before. Um, we've got one piece that's going to go right here. The only difference is right in here. Let's take a peek at what we're about to get into. It comes up and splits over to more of a U joint that connects into those circles. So we can take and use and modify one of the pieces that we've got. To get started though, let's just grab up one of our circles and let's get it moved into position. We look pretty good on the size of it. It's actually just about right. We can go a little bit smaller with our inside circle here. Right about there. Now on this one, if we look at it, we see that the bar goes all the way through. So let's go ahead and move this one in position. Like so. Let's grab this one on our vertex. Let's take him all the way through, all the way across. There we go. Let's do the same thing with this one. We need to flesh him out just a little bit. There we go. Alright, that gives us the piece that we want for that. Now we need an arm piece, and you know we've already straightened out this little guy right in here. So let's just make a copy of him and move him on down. Get him positioned. Let's move into our vertex mode. And let's thicken that one up just a little bit. And we're going to offset that just a little so we're more centered on that cylinder there. Okay, so we look like we've got a nice range right here. It's going to be pretty long. We can always adjust that side of it as we get to it. And what we want to do is we want to get it set up on this piece. I'll go ahead and turn my edge facing back on. We want to get this piece set up so that we have an edge loop or a cut here and a cut there so that we can extrude out the pieces for our little U joint right there. So how about we go to our modeling tools and we can look in here to see which type we want to use. We've got an option for the connect. We've got the multi-cut. Let's try our let's give our cut option, our connect option, a shot. Let's see, segments. Let's do 2. There we go. And that looks pretty good. We actually probably want to slide this a little. Let's see, not slide, but let's push these out a little bit. There we go. Gives us a nice firm middle. In fact, I'm going to pull this back just a little, 0.75. There we go. Okay, so that gives us the piece that we want. Now the other thing that we need to do, we need to pull this all together. So let's go into face. And we want to see if we can cap that part of it. So let's go ahead and we've got a face mode, but we can go into our mesh and let's just do our fill hole. Let's go into our edge mode. Let's make sure that we've got the end selected here. Actually, I'm going to select both ends. And then we'll do our mesh and our fill hole. That'll cap that for us. And because we're going to make an extrusion here, let's go ahead and make our cut across here. So I'll do a multi-cut. We're just going to grab it from here down to this guy. And then from this spot down to here. So let's do a little wireframe on this one so we can see what we're working with here. And you can see on this side we haven't actually deleted those polys, so we still got them all in there. That'll work just fine. Alright, I'm going to go back into my face mode. I'm going to select on these two guys. Let's do an extrusion out. And as we extrude out, this will give us some of the pieces we need to work with. I'm just going to pull those out just enough so that we can make it past what we need. And then the other thing that we want to do is we want this to actually kind of Y out a little bit and then up. So I'm going to add one more edge loop right in here. So let's go into our mesh tools and let's add a insert edge loop. We'll go for right about in here. Let's see if we can get to a top view so we can see this a little better. We can see how this goes out and then up. So right in here, we just want to move some of this over. And we'll simply move some of this over. Alright, that puts us in a really good position right there. And let's go ahead and go back to our solid view. Nice. Got a nice little detailed piece for connecting up. And we are going to need to rotate this one into position, so let's go to our side view. And let's just go ahead and rotate this guy up a little bit. And looks like we can match that line nice and easy right there. We'll put that one right about there, looking real good like that. There we go. And the next piece after that is going to be this guy right in here. And that one is just going to be one large one and then one small one. So let's go ahead and make a copy of this one. Let's get him set up right about there. And we're going to have to definitely shrink him up just a little bit. Can't be quite that wide. There we go. So he's about that big. Right there in the middle of those two. And Control D one more time. And this time around, this one's actually going to be a little bit smaller. See how it sets in right there. And then let's go to our vertex mode. This one's going to set out and over. And back into our object mode there. There we go. So we've got the pieces right in here. Now the only thing that we haven't quite set in place is the actual angle on this piece. So let's get in there and resolve that. We're going to select on all of this. And all of this. And this guy. And these. There we go. So all of us select them and do Control G just to make it a group. I'm going to go ahead and go back to my tool and reset the pivot point. Let's edit that pivot point so that we can get it exactly where we want it, because we really want to just rotate from right over here just to make that a little bit easier on ourselves. right. And let's see if we can't just move that down just like that. We just rotate it into position. We look pretty good like that. That's a good spot. Okay. So with that one there, we can make our corrections on this guy, which is basically just saying, let's move him down a little bit. I'm going to go to my object so I can just pull right down on that axis. So I want to be able to see that little Y, that little U joint right there. There we go. Nice. And you'll notice it's just a lot easier when you're working with big pieces like this. Instead of trying to model them at an angle, if it's a big section of them, just work with it nice and straight and then group them together and angle them down where you need them. Okay, so we've got our first piece going up right here. We've got a piece going back and over. Let's go ahead and tackle that next.